Good morning, buongiorno. Time to go to Cipriani for an event that's in my field, meditation, lifestyle wellness. Yay! Another day in paradise in Venice. I love my mornings and early afternoons to really just reflect and walk around because there's so much beauty, and that's kind of like a moving meditation for me. Meditation is single-minded focus. So you could be doing anything and you could be meditating, but most people think it's sitting still. And that's not the case. It's about where's your mind and your focus. Where attention goes, energy flows. What are you growing? Going for the boat of Hotel Cipriani right there. And the boat is not there at the moment, so it means we have to wait. Right across the way. Straight across. It's a much cooler day today. As you can see, you gotta stand back from the water. San Marco. Choppy today. It's a full moon. This is so beautiful. If you've never been here, just come out here to hang out in the garden. Wow. Tennis courts. I don't remember that being here last time. Okay, see, like I said, you know, what is art to one person may not be art to everyone. But that is repurposing for sure. There's a bar and everything out there. Cooking the world. Subud Gupta. Very beautiful out here. I'd like to have a retreat here. This was so perfect because right here would be absolutely perfect. They have their own garden, and I could do yoga on the grass. Imagine that. There is something special to be said about having your coffee in Italy.
And in the same time, so we do a problem. You know that, you remember that they wanted to bring actually the rulers to the
I hope it's not the Chips Club.
because that place that I really love it, and then they showed me that place to do an event that I knew that is still available when I was there.
Cheers.
Month.
Kisses from Italy.
And it's something that we really think about once. This museum lab.
This is the life
So
worth
it's
living.
a fantastic place.
Make your life your reality.
You really
rain too, which is always good to cleanse the air, right?
No, but sometimes you can sound like I know that most of the time sound very
You get to listen to this beautiful man's music. I love it. A little change of scenery. I just got stung by a wasp. Actually, they look like bees, and they are attracted to honey for sure. But this is what it looks like. It's all swollen, you can see. So, on the back of my form, I shall survive. I am alive. These things happen. I'm hoping to get in Cafe Affogato a vanilla ice cream with coffee poured on top, because everybody had tiramisu and unfortunately that has gluten, and well, that would make my day anyway. We have an issue with these wasps. These are wasps. They're called Vespa in Italian. It's just crazy. But I have my little macchiato. And we go back in because we're going to watch the territory.
Every time that they want us to disappear, we are not going to let that happen. That is the message of this afternoon in a nutshell. So, as you all are taking your seats and settling, I'm very, very thrilled to invite my very first guest today, Mr. Barry Alexander Brown. We are delighted to have him with us. He is a film director and editor on such distinguished.
But as the editor for Spike Lee for a very, very long time. You know, with Spike, and actually makes it quite powerful, is Malcolm X, most recently Black Panther. The idea is to bring you into a world and make it real, and there's such a power in that because you relate to it. You know, a story, a film like The Territory, isn't just about the Amazon. It's really about humankind. And, you know, and even though it's a very local problem, especially this movie, this is a problem that is all of our problem. And somehow, I know it's not easy, somehow we all have to be a part of that solution.
Barry also mentioned this was a co-creation piece. Tell us more about that. What does that mean? What did it look like?
Yes, so hello and thank you so much for having us here. My name is Cipriani I, and I'm a producer from Denmark. And I've been producing these kind of documentary films for 22 years. I've done about 30 of them, so it doesn't mean that they all become as good as this one. But it has been a really beautiful work on this film. And just to give you guys a little bit of an insight on how does a film like this start, the director Alex Pritz, he is very concerned about land ownership and land grabbing and how we as people live on this planet and how we collaborate with the land that we are borrowing, all of us. And he had read about this incredible activist, Nidinha, who was fighting in an area, Rondônia in Brazil, where they were all for Bolsonaro. And she was really fighting by herself to try and help the indigenous communities so that the rainforest wouldn't be chopped down. And he was so impressed with her work, he called her up and he said, "Can I meet with you or talk with you about making a film with you?" And she said, "No. I've seen so many journalists coming from America who want to come and report on the rainforest, and you can meet up here, and if you don't meet up here, I'm not going to talk with you anymore." And he's a young filmmaker, so he was like, okay, getting on an airplane, meeting with Nidinha in Rondônia, and it takes forever to get to Rondônia. It's not an easy trip. And he didn't know whether she was going to open the door and greet him in or not. But she was kind of surprised he came. She thought, oh wow, this guy's tall, he's white, and he's good looking, but okay, let's talk. And she introduced him to Gabriel, who is our Brazilian producer, who lives and works in close relationship with indigenous communities and has been helping reporters to come out and meet indigenous communities to report from the forest. But he's as well super irritated about this approach coming from the white privileged people coming to the rainforest. So they said, well, you know, we don't know if you can make a film here because you shouldn't make it about Indigenous. You should make it about the Uru-Eu-Wau-Wau community because they are really the ones that has the problem. And they are in the middle of a big crisis. And we don't know if you'll be accepted, but we'll try. And so they went out to meet with the community and try and see if Alex could sort of find his way in. And on the way to the community, which is a long ride, many hours in a car, bumpy roads, not something easy to get to, Alex sees this big fire going on, the rainforest on complete fire, and it's inside the film, this fire. And he says to Nidinya, stop the car. And he ran into the fog and ran into the fire and started filming the fire. And then she thought, okay, he's not like the rest of them. He really does dare to go in where it's really dangerous. So that's how he got accepted by her, and then she worked together with Gabriel, our Brazilian producer, to make a good introduction to the community. But it was quite early on that we got to realize, and Alex got to realize, this film has to be made with them on their conditions of how they want to be seen, how they want their story to be told. And one of the big difficulties was that the community, which is a lot of different indigenous communities, they all need to come together and collectively decide whether making a film with Alex is a good idea. And each step the film took, you had to have all the communities come together, do a collective meeting, and do collective decision making. I mean, I'm from Denmark, one of the oldest democracies in the world. We have a lot of parties, and I can sort of imagine what that is. But for Alex, growing up with Democrats and Republicans and, you know, really wanting things to move along, and he really had to learn from the community how to do films collectively and how to sort of put down everything he's learned, respect the community, and let them kind of decide the lead on where this film was going to go. And so that's why it is made in collaboration with the community, because otherwise we would not have been able to make this film. He would have been out of the territory within a day. So I think that's really basic for this film. Another thing that was one of the big tests we had was the community told us one day, you know, it's great that you're filming with us and we can show you our culture and our traditions and what we're fighting against, and, you know, we can go in and see if we can find the invaders. We're happy to do that because that's our everyday life. But if you really want to make a good film about this conflict, you have to film the other side. And Alex was scared. He was like, I don't want to go with those land grabbers. I don't want to meet those choppers, you know, it's dangerous. And they said, no, it's dangerous for us. They'll kill us. But you're American, they'll love you. They love America. Look at their hats, look at their belts. They love America. So you're this gorgeous white man from America, they'll love you. So Alex, pushed by the community, actually decided to try and get to the other side and start filming with them. And that's not so easy because he then needed to gain the trust of the other side. He needed to create two film teams to be not mixing his information about where are the invaders going, where is the indigenous community going, because he suddenly had a lot of information that had to stay with him, but to avoid problems, we had two different crews so that the information wouldn't slide from one side to the other side. And that took a long time. So it's done in a collaboration, and they pushed us hardly. And one thing I really want to stress, because you see they have drones, we did not introduce cameras and drones to them. They had drones and cameras when we arrived. And Picticular was 21 years old, and in the beginning of the film, he's 18. The elders say he's going to be the leader. One of the reasons why he is a good leader is because he actually brought technology in, and he didn't see himself or the community as being less indigenous or being afraid of not staying indigenous just because they brought in cameras. So he's enormously smart and thinking of how can technology help us control our territory and give us power to actually send material to CNN or other news outlets to show what's really going on in the rainforest. So before that, journalists would say, we want to come down, we want to show that it's burning, I'm from CNN, I'm from ABC, I'm from all these channels. But now, BTC says, don't come, send me the shot list, I'll do the shootings with my team, and we'll send that material to you. And you can pay us. So, you know, they are smart, and we didn't introduce that. So what we introduced was when COVID hit, the community, and especially BTC, our main character, he said, you're not allowed to come in. Nobody can come in. It will destroy our community. We are 180 people left in the Uru-Eu-Wau-Wau community. We're gonna die if we get COVID. So you're not allowed in. You can send us your really nice cameras because we don't have those beautiful cameras you're using in the film. So send those, and then we will document what's going on during COVID. And then we could, you know, talk with them and look at the material and discuss with them, but really they had the power and we were out. And I think that really shows in the film that, like you said, Barry, it's a big turning point in the movie. And they really showed us that they know how to tell their story, and they will tell it differently than we will, but it's actually much stronger. So we were grateful for COVID on this film, not on a lot of other films, but on this film it actually brought something fantastic for the storytelling. And a little thing.
Well, I just wanted to add for context, so Virginia is the woman in the clip who has the drone and who sings at the end, just so you know who she is. It's important, you know, that you know who we're talking about. We spend our lives with these people, but obviously you're being introduced for the first time, so I would just say that. But yes, you can say one more thing, and I would also love, you've talked about the beginning, take us up to the present day as well, and you know, the film itself was a co-creation. There's also a huge impact campaign that's around this film, as it's being distributed into the world, and that's also a co-creation with the community. It's about what they want and need, and Kuemba is going to talk to us a little bit about that, but share with us a little bit about the vision of the impact campaign as well.
Yeah, and I also shared just a few little notes on the filmmaking. You guys, I hope you're going to come to any cinema near you and watch the movie. It's a movie, it's not just a documentary film, it's really a movie. And one of the big elements was that we brought our composer, who's a young woman, Katya Mikhailova from Kyrgyzstan, and she wanted to go in with the community, work with the community, collect all the sounds of each character. So we have all the sounds of Bita, we have all the sounds of Nedinya and of everybody in the community. She took sound bites from bow and arrows, from even putting a microphone into the big tree to capture when the tree is falling, what that sounded like. So the whole soundscape of the film is done in a co-creation with the community in order to capture every sound that is from the Amazon, from the land grabbers, and use those two soundscapes also as a fight between the two parts. So that's just enormously important, that it's in every aspect of the filmmaking that we continuously did this together with the community. And so just to bring you guys up to speed, we were lucky because National Geographic only takes 2 to 3 films a year, like this type of level films. And we were super lucky that they loved the film. And we were lucky to premiere it at Sundance, and we won 2 awards, one audience award, that's the best one. And we won Best Craft, which as a producer I'm very happy with, because it just means it's a good experience to watch it from the craft side. And then the film is actually in a month gonna cross 100 festivals, film festivals. It's been winning 18 awards at this time. And now we're on a big tour with the film for an Academy run. So we hope that the film will be shortlisted for an Academy, hopefully even nominated, we don't know, but we're working very hard on it. And alongside with all this film work, we actually have a very big impact campaign that we raised money for individually, like us producers raised money for the impact campaign, not something with Nat Geo. And for the impact campaign, we raised $500,000, and we started by using 6 months talking with the community, talking with other indigenous communities about what are the needs now, like what do you need from us? We're coming with this money, but we want it to be meaningful for you, and you should tell us what you need to happen. And one of the things that they really wanted was a big media center. So we are raising money, still more money, but we are starting building the media center. It's done with indigenous architects, it's done in an indigenous traditional way, but in a bigger kind of scale. And we're bringing new editing rooms for them, they're getting more new cameras, they're getting a sound studio, because they suddenly were like, the sound, what is it with the sound? So they went into a sound studio where we created the sound for the film, and they were like, we want that in our media house. So they're gonna get a big sound studio as well. And we're gonna do labs where, you know, film people can come and collaborate and share ideas of filmmaking. And I hope I'm going to be investing in the first indigenous film made by the community in this center. So I'm hoping. So yes, it's a big campaign we're doing, and we're also doing it in Europe, and I think you're going to speak a little bit about that. So we have 2 impact producing teams working in Brazil, America, and fantastic Think Film. We're so happy and grateful that they're doing the impact campaign in Europe and trying to change you know, people in the parliaments and politicians and very important people to sort of do law changes. And I think these guys will talk more about that. So yes, the film is a big project.
We are also blessed because last night Sigrid talked of awards, and the Better World Forum awarded the territory its award for Best Cinematography, which was accepted last night by our young activist Kuembu Uru-Eu-Wau-Wau. Now Kuembu is, I should come slightly towards this slightly more forward-facing for this moment. Kuembu is only 20 years old. He is a member of the Chupao surveillance team that are part of the team that do all this surveillance and monitoring and figuring out what's going on and who's attacking their territory and where it's being burnt and all of this kind of stuff. And he also is involved in documenting their history and the environment and the culture so that this doesn't get lost. We are incredibly privileged to have him with us today, and it's my delight to welcome him to the stage to share a personal message with you all from him, from his people, to us in this room, and to our friends and families around the world. So, Kuembu, please take the stage.
Boa tarde, em nome da comunidade Uru-Eu-Wau, eu gostaria de agradecer ao Fórum por incrível prêmio que eu ganhei ontem. É energético ver a resposta do nosso filme e saber que o nosso filme e a nossa história não está sendo apenas vista, né? Mas também impactando o público em todo o mundo. É incrivelmente importante que mais pessoas como vocês conheçam a nossa história, nossa perspectiva na luta para proteger nossa casa e nossas florestas dos invasores e do desmatamento. Esperamos que, ao fazer esse tipo de filme, as pessoas soubessem das queimadas nas florestas e dos perigos que eu e a minha comunidade enfrentamos todos os dias.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Uru-Eu-Wau-Wau community, I would like to thank the Better World Fund for this incredible award that I received yesterday. And it's energizing to see such a response to our film and to know that our film and our story is not only being seen, but also impacting audience around the world. And it's incredibly important that more people like you see our story, our perspective in the fight to protect our home and forests from invaders and deforestation. We had hoped that by making this film, more people would know about the burdens in the forest and the dangers me and my community face every day.
Desde as filmagens do território não houve melhorias. As pessoas precisam assistir, precisam se conscientizar do que está acontecendo. precisa ouvir o grito das florestas, porque ela não aguenta mais. Ela está pedindo nossa ajuda. Vocês podem ver chamas vermelhas queimando dia e noite. As florestas estão cobertas de fumaça. Eles tomam nossa terra para cultivar gado e soja. Em grande parte, são importados para a Europa, consumidos pelo público, sem saber que estes insumos foram cultivados ilegalmente a partir de terras indígenas.
Since filming the territory, there have been no improvements. People need to watch this. They need to become aware of what is happening. They need to hear the cries of the forest because the forest is asking for our help. You can see the red flames burn at the night, during the night and during the day. The forest is covered by smoke. They take our land to grow cattle and soya, much of which is imported to Europe and consumed by the public, not knowing they were illegally grown from indigenous lands.
Indiretamente, a comunidade europeia está contribuindo para a destruição de nossas florestas através do seu consumo, indiretamente. A Europa está promovendo a violência contra os indígenas, quer seus habitantes queiram ou não. Até agora, é a isso que seu consumo está levando. O mesmo se aplica às florestas tropicais e a terras indígenas em todo o mundo.
Indirectly, the European community is contributing to the destruction of our forests through its consumption. Indirectly, it's promoting violence against indigenous people. Whether they want it or not, so far this is what consumption is leading to. And this is the same for rainforests and indigenous lands around the world.
Mas isto pode mudar, e todos nessa sala hoje podem ajudar a mudá-lo. Estive em Bruxelas, defendendo a inclusão da proteção dos direitos indígenas na nova lei europeia sobre o desmatamento. E para garantir que a importação de bens brasileiros não esteja mais ligada à violência perpetuada contra as comunidades indígenas. Agora, vim hoje a Veneza falar com todos vocês, porque todos nesta sala também podem desempenhar um grande papel.
But this can change, and it need to. And everyone in this room today can help to change it. I was in Brussels advocating to include the protection of indigenous rights in the new European law on deforestation, and to ensure the importance Brazilian goods is no longer linked to violence perpetrated against indigenous communities. Now I have come to Venice today to speak to all of you because everyone in this room can also play a big role.
Para nós, a floresta é vida. Nós vivemos nas florestas e protegemos as florestas. Quando falamos de desmatamento, não se trata apenas de cortar árvores, mas também de acabar com a vida, deixando as florestas doentes e nos matando.
To us, the forest is life. We live in the forest and we protect the forest. When we talk about deforestation, we are not only talking about cutting down the trees, but also ending lives, making the forest sick and killing us.
Há tanta violência contra os povos indígenas, a maioria dos quais as notícias não chegam. O atual governo é uma ameaça a todos os povos indígenas da Amazônia e Alagoas, que nos opomos a ele recebemos ameaças de morte. Uma ameaça que recebi recentemente mostra como isso é claro. Foi-me dito, se Lula não ganhar, invadiremos seu território, mas eles não nos intimidarão e eu não irei parar.
There is so much violence against indigenous people, most of which does not make it to the news. The current government is a threat to all indigenous people in the Amazon, and we who oppose him receive death threats. One recent that I received shows how clear this is. I was told, if Lula doesn't win, we will invade your territory. But they will not intimidate us, and they will not stop us.
Não vim à Europa hoje para pedir que nos salvem, mas que fiquem do nosso lado nessa luta. Hoje falo com vocês com esperança. Estamos pressionando para que mais povos indígenas tenham posições no governo. Viajei para longe da minha causa, para aumentar a conscientização, não apenas do que está indo mal, mas olhar nos olhos e dizer que juntos podemos melhorar a situação da Amazônia brasileira. Estou aqui para lhe mostrar como nós, povos indígenas, estamos salvando e protegendo as florestas do nosso mundo, mas não podemos fazer isso sozinhos.
I have not come to Europe today to ask you to save us, but to stand by your side in this fight. And I speak to you today with hope. We are pushing for more indigenous people to have positions in the government. I have traveled far from my home to raise awareness. I just went, not just what is going wrong, but to look you in the eye and tell you that together we can improve the situation in Brazilian Amazon. I'm here to show you how we indigenous people are saving you by protecting the world's forests, and we cannot do it alone.
Com o apoio das pessoas aqui hoje e das pessoas em todo mundo que vê este filme, que ouve nossas vozes, façam a ecoar nossas vozes e que fiquem ao nosso lado. Acredito que podemos salvar a Amazônia e garantir que deixaremos o mundo mais saudável para as próximas gerações. As mudanças climáticas são uma realidade que está afetando o mundo de diversas maneiras. Então é urgente que se faça algo já. Obrigado.
With the support of our people here today, and the people across the globe who see this film, who hear our voices, make our voices echo and stand by our side, I believe we can save the Amazon rainforest and we can make sure that we leave a healthy world for the next generations. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Aya, and I would love to do the remarks for this amazing day. And first I want to say thank you very much for all this amazing opportunity to be here, represent my people and the Legacy Forum that I am ambassador. And I want to say thank you to Manuel and Sonia Diop for all this invitation to be here today. And so I would love to tell the remark. And I was born in Rondônia, the same exactly location where the documentary is just so happened at 21 years ago, and I raised in the indigenous community. And my grandmother and my mother, they are always run away the territory from territory, and because this is our reality, and I grew up with this kind of reality. And if I'm able to be standing here in front of you guys, is because I'm driven by the same anger and hope to carry an important message that my friends gave the birth of this movie, to tell it this whole reality that we are been living until today. And I'm the bridge between the experience and of my ancestors and the eternal guardians of the land and the future generations that hopefully will be able to live and breathe on the home that we call planet Earth. And if you haven't seen the news, the Amazon burning at crazy rate, and indigenous people are silenced and killed, I think we all agree that it's the same for our society as a whole to take its responsibility in this new area, which human activity has been the dominant influence on climate and environment. And it would be a mistake to wait for any kind of decisions and take by the people who govern us and have a seen in this in Brazil and America Latina, because the government they take care a lot about the economy, but what is basically move the economy is the huge companies who take the resources by the indigenous land in America Latina. So, and yes, maybe change the leader in Brazil will help, but down the line, what really matters to the government is public opinion. And we are seeing the rise of a global ecological conscience and push and carry by our generation. And it's our responsibility as activists and citizens to turn every debate and conversation around this topic into something deeply political. And as indigenous, the land we live on is connected to our identity and spirituality within our culture. We see ourselves as guardians, not the owners, because we are the real guardians millions of years, and we are there since the America Latina become America Latina. So, and today have a lot of solutions to crises across the global. And one is like in Colombia, they have the life plans, that are the key of the instruments to advance forest conservation. And these are powerful tools of community reflection and engagement and self-determination of indigenous people. And that solutions exist, they just to be deployed at a larger scale. And what given me help is, today we have a huge wave of indigenous leading women raising their voice, and in particular they have a step into visibility, leadership, and powers. And many fellow indigenous women are doing amazing things in national and regional indigenous organizations, and both are local and political level. And I think of you, Tishai, Kwana, Elena, Nina, Diana, all my sisters who today are raising voice to protect the people, to being everywhere, to have this powerful indigenous women today, because I really believe the future is on sisters, is about women leaders everywhere. And you, like as a woman, mother, you understand what is being such a huge place when you're just surrounded by men. And I really believe that the future is about leaders, women. And men follow of a woman, sorry, and we are using Western technology and communication tools which help us to bring new islands and ideas to help us with our struggle. And our narrative is focused on our sisters' rights to their self-determination, and the way for our cultural and physical survival, and the preservation of the lands and ecosystems. And we have been the guardians of so long, and they have been humans on this planet too. So one the kind of thing that I carry with my voice is, we need to really listen to indigenous people, because it's like we take care of the nature, and basically everyone here needs the nature to take resources in the future. And if the planet collapses because we have the global warming, the climate change, and all this has become like a huge hole, and we really need taking solutions now. And I'm sorry, I'm nervous. And I think indigenous people are the maintained the Amazon for millennia, and we can keep it doing so if you let us. And we defend our landers for our survival and for your own survival too. Thank you very much.
And this is a fight, as Michael says, this is a fight that is happening right now this week in the European Parliament. And this is something that we can all get involved in, and we all should get involved in, because this planet is here for all of us, and the Amazon is being protected for all of us. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for listening to what we have to say. I hope you've seen the movie. You can visit National Geographic to find out where it's playing, both here in Italy and around the world. And if you don't get to catch it in a cinema, it will be on Disney Plus at some point towards the end of this year or beginning of next year. If you want to get involved in the Impact campaign, then please visit theterritoryimpact.org. And there's all sorts of social assets there and things. So please do also share on social media, hashtag the territory, and share this with your friends. And please, as Michael says, tweet, call, attack your MP, get them to vote to protect Indigenous rights next week. This is the moment. This is the time that we can make such a seismic difference. So thank you all. Please, would you give a warm thanks, round of applause to Kuembu and Picticular, to our other panelists who've joined us here today. So thank you all very much.
Forests and our campaign will pick that up and amplify your voices.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you so
Chandelier.
much.
Gorgeous. No rain, but it's still just so pleasant. You know what? It doesn't matter if you're in Venice and it's overcast. It's still gorgeous. It's the experience. Fascinating. Go see the territory if you get a chance. Open your eyes. A lot of things in the world. The rainforest is our spirit, is our lungs. La, 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 la. Beautiful people. In questo momento no. Io metto sopra affogato, caffè affogato. Thank you very much. Grazie. Cafe affogato. Basically, I got them to get me some ice cream, and I poured the coffee over it. Strawberry and vanilla.
I don't know if I'm coming.
So you have to improvise. I asked for ice cream, and I got vanilla, and I thought it was strawberry, but it seems to be raspberry. And I poured some coffee over it. It's basically smothered ice cream with coffee is what it translates to in English, but it's cafe affogato.
Okay, let me see where I'm going in 20 minutes. I tell you.
You gotta improvise.
No, andato sa freddo allora. Avevo buffet,
What's kind of funny is in reflection, look at this. In reflection on this trip so far, I've stepped in dog shit. I've had orange juice with the pulp poured all over my dress, which needs to be washed still. And then today, I get stung by the Vespa, the wasp. So I'll call it the luck of the Irish and the comedy of my life. Now, some people would get very upset and flip out, and then other people may actually see the divine comedy in their life, like me, because it can only be getting better. And the sun came out, so I'm happy. San Marco, San Zaccaria, the day, the clouds, the sun has opened up, following friends all around. Here we go. Navigating our way to an art show. Look at that beautiful sky. The contrast, and of course the architecture all around. You can't mistake the beautiful backdrop of the sky. I was over here the other day. Just such stunning architecture. Chiesa with the bell tower. Gotta get that. I love this. Walking through the alleys. Imagine the people back in the day. I'm just following friends.
John, did you ever see the wedding crashers?
They're talking movies up there about the Wedding Crashers, laughing about humor and comedy. Like, you can always find the humor in life. You can find whatever you're looking for. It's just where attention goes, energy flows, right? Pharmacia.
Sì. E come mai?
I think I was down here just the other day, as a matter of fact. For me, walking the streets of Venice is very meditative. Just appreciating all this beauty, all the splendor. Little bridges. Bridges that find their way into special corners and niches. Right? Look at that. Picture perfect. Deep breaths, taking it all in. Look at all this beauty. Connectors. I love it. The way the buildings are connected.
Lunch?
Ti faccio più partire allora.
Ci aggiorniamo.
Ciao, magari riusciamo a bere un aperitivo.
The pigeons keeping an eye out for their next snack. They feed well, I'm sure. Too much sugar, candy, chalk.
Bello, qui puoi chiamare le persone dalla finestra.
Sì, sì, è bello, mi piace.
Ciao! Maria! Ciao!
Sì.
C'ha le finestre chiuse.
E poi più alta. No, perché non so se neanche hanno più di
Rubber ducky, you're the one. Rubber ducky, so much fun. Lots of rubber duckies. Now we're near Rialto. We're not going that way. We're going this way.
Però l'evento, le nostre immagini.
When we met in the 90s, they just started business. Now they have a showroom at Mexico. So I'm not working with them anymore.
It was too much to try to capture. You can get the gist, and you'll have to come yourself. So hopefully it inspires you to want to see.
But we cannot modify it, we cannot touch it. It's not, I'm not allowed to put another structure. I cannot. This decision is after many meetings we have inside with my team. It's not the no, you know why? If something happened when I went on spot, you know, it's my responsibility. So the ending design is not professional. Let me say what I think. It's only a line.
Yeah, more or less.
So before saying something, you know, my work is 25 years.
Just pay attention to the parquet floors. How amazing are these? The detailed work, the artmanship in an art gallery. Absolutely gorgeous.
Ja, Wahnsinn. Jetzt schon wieder. Mal hier vor, dann kann man nicht weiter.
The funny part is we were just here. So now we made our way around. We went to the art exhibit. And now we're heading back to Excelsior for the event that we showed up early for yesterday. Crazy. Amazing sculptures. Back to Lido. Look at that tree. I bet that tree knows something. Seen some things. Coming up behind the casino. All these little seating areas for people who come here. Sala Gran Giardino. That's Sala Giardino. There is something a little bizarre if you pay attention to that little fairy. She's actually wearing a mask and has a tail that looks kind of devilish. This big building in the middle is a casino where a lot of the publicity happens, the interviews and journalists and publicists and media, all sorts of stuff in there. And up here, where you see that screen up ahead, that's the red carpet. We've got Lexus over here, Campari, yeah. Casino would be pronounced it in Italian. If you say casino, they're going to think you're talking about something else, like a brothel. Here's your red carpet. Navigating my way through the people. And then you get the visuals there.
Stiamo aspettando il freddo, che è già
This building over here has a little cafe, Alchemizing. It's actually not bad. A lot of people socialize in there. Right now, over here on the left is Excelsior. All of this area here. Just giving you the look, the glam, or something of like that nature. So, Lexus is a proud sponsor of the 79th Biennale Mostra del Cinema. Yeah. So word on the street is white noise is not so great, and that the Banshees of Inisherin is looking like possibly getting an award. So here we are. A little different way of arriving this time. We like to change it up, keep things interesting. There's the entry, there's a nice rotating door and beautiful people. And just I love fountains.
So where's this bloody event?
Downstairs where we entered the other day.
Yeah?
Yep, that's what she told us. She said she was organizing it for today
Okay.
too. So we're going to elevators. Camera.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Ayam VIP.
No, un amico che mi ha portato il tuo.
Sì, sì, chi è
Alla fine un amico che l'ha portato.
Buonanotte. Yep. O sole mio, sta in fronte di te. I'm trying not to step off backwards and break my neck on these stairs. I won't be responsible for what happens for the rest of the night. Oh, that's right. I'm going back early because I have some trip planning to do.